Hey everyone, it's Sam. I'm sorry for my hoarseness. I caught one of the many bugs that's going around. So I was a little late on recording my December video, so it's now a January video, I suppose. I'm sorry. And then over Christmas I did pull a couple ER shifts because I'm still on the old schedule where we have to do 160 hours of our own time in the ER. So I did a few long days, and I've now completed my 160 hours. So it definitely is possible, but thankfully they're switching that to just a 6-week rotations. So any of you watching this that haven't started phase 2 will be fortunate. So that may be where I caught this, or any one of my kids and their germs. So now here we are, January 2nd. Yay. Start of the new year. I hope everybody had a great Thanksgiving, a great Christmas, and a great New Year's. Hopefully everybody is safe. Congrats to 23-3 in their graduation. I had many friends in that class, and I'm so very proud of them. So hopefully all of you made it or are soon to make it to your duty stations for phase 2. Super excited for the couple that I know that are coming here to Fort Liberty. I know all 3 of them, and I like all 3 of them. I don't really not like anybody, so I guess that doesn't say a whole lot. But anyway, I'll start out with what I've done for the last month or so. And then we'll get into a couple emails I got so I can answer questions for the group in case anybody else has the same questions. So, I took my ENT exam. I don't know, my last video, I don't know if I took it by the time I had recorded, but I took my ENT exam. I passed it. It was a rough exam, but I did pass, and then I even got, I think, 1 question back like 2 weeks later. So again, it's probably if enough people miss certain questions, they could have the committee review it. So don't ever think maybe you're just, because sometimes it seems like on the phase 2 exams you're just kind of screwed, for lack of a better term, but you're not. They do still review the tests, and they do still review the questions. I looked through the questions that I missed with my phase 2 coordinator right after the test to see maybe if there was anything I'm consistently getting wrong, if it's like treatment plan or if it's like just diagnosing or what have you. So there were a couple of like different categories I got wrong, but then he did point out like 2 that he thought were just like, one he thought was just like a bad question, and then another I think he said was like had an issue with like the answer choices or something. I can't remember exactly, it was like a month ago, but I must have gotten one of those 2 back. So any points you can get back obviously help, because you still have to meet all the passing criteria and stuff. And you never know when you're gonna have like a bad day or a bad rotation or something you don't grasp as well, or you just don't you don't get feedback from, always ask for feedback from preceptors, but sometimes we can ask and we still don't get that feedback. So make sure you continue to just work on yourself in any way you can, and then do your best and do what you can do. So ENT is behind me. Then I went to obstetrics and gynecology. I really liked it there. I don't know if it's because I love moms and babies or what have you, but I was in the acute care gynecology clinic, so we saw some for 2 weeks. I saw some like pregnancy patients and saw some like typical gynecology acute care patients. And then I went to labor and delivery for a week, which was amazing. The first year resident did deliver all of the uncomplicated vaginal deliveries, but she did let me deliver the placentas on her deliveries. So that was really rewarding. I wish I would have gotten to deliver a baby, but when there's at least 12 residents in the OB-GYN clinic and then also family medicine residents working up there, it's sometimes hard to get it in where you can. So, and then you never know when a baby's going to come. They come on their own time. So, but I did deliver, like, definitely, like, I would probably say 5 to 10, I don't know. It was somewhere in that range of placentas. So that was neat. And then there's also, and then I had my 4th week of OB was in the OR. So there was like a half day because we have academics on Wednesday afternoon. So Wednesday morning I was doing pre-ops and post-ops in the clinic. But Monday, and then the Friday was like their Christmas party. So I, and so we did like academics in the OB-GYN clinic and then the Christmas party. But Monday, Tuesday, and Thursday were all day OR. So that was a really good time. Seeing some of those things and stuff. And the whole rotation was super rewarding. So I definitely recommend take full advantage of all the opportunities given to you. The residents were all extremely helpful, as with them more than any attending. The attendings, most of them, were super helpful as well. Some of them seemed like less inclined to teach me because they were too busy teaching the residents, but some were definitely like all in for teaching everybody that would listen. So it's definitely, you have to figure out kind of like every day when you work with a new doctor, whether it be a resident or an attending or have you, you have to figure out where you can fit in, and sometimes going out of your comfort zone just a little bit, even if it but obviously trying not to make anybody upset or step on toes. But it was a really good time for me. I have my OB-GYN test on Monday. We usually do our tests Monday after the rotation ends here at Fort Liberty. Some of the sites do it on the Friday, the very last day of the rotation. I've heard some people like that. I personally like taking it the Monday after so I can have the weekend. Yeah, I've been studying most of, like, today, a little bit over the last few weeks, but, like, just diving hard into it today and over the next 4 more days up until the test Monday. So, it'll be good. I think it comes easier when you like the subject, obviously, so, and then we did have, like, a Christmas party white elephant kind of thing for the IPAP individuals that are stationed here. So that was really fun. We kind of have committees in our Phase 2 IPAP location. So we have some people that do like orientation for the newbies, and then we have some people that do like student life and like birthdays and stuff. And then we have some people that help arrange the academics that we have on Wednesday afternoons. So yeah, I think we have a good system here, and I'd love to see it grow. So hopefully we can continue that. We are going to be getting a new Phase 2 coordinator. I can't remember all of a sudden, but here in the next few months or so. Don't know who it is yet, but hopefully makes everything even better. I don't know. It's obviously different when somebody new comes along anywhere you go in the Army. So, then I think that's really it for me and my rotations. I finished my elective ER hours, like I said. So I have my ER rotation in February. It's just 2 weeks, and then I'll hopefully be prepared to test on that. Sorry. So I couldn't remember all of the questions that I got asked, so I'm going to refer to some screenshots on my phone to tell you guys to address the questions that were asked. So the first question I got asked, which I completely apologize, I don't know how I missed it. It was a email I got the day before Thanksgiving, and I just replied to it today. So if you're the sender, I'm extremely sorry because I don't know how I missed it. Maybe just with Thanksgiving and everything, because I was traveling. I went to the Ohio State-Michigan game, which Ohio State lost horribly, but we won't talk about that. It hurts. They said, or their question was, how difficult is it to grasp the material within the course, and what tips and tricks did you use? So I wouldn't say it's difficult to grasp because the instructors teach it at a basic level so that even if you have no medical background or you have no idea what they're talking about, that you understand what they need you to understand to be a good PA student, to like be at the point where you can go to your clinicals and be a successful like semi-provider because you're almost there. So I don't think it's difficult to grasp what they're saying, but I think it's difficult to retain all that they're teaching. And then for the block test that comes, and then sorry, and then also for like the pack rat and now hearing clinicals and then eventually the pants, it's just difficult to retain all of that at one time. So I think asking the teachers questions really helped me. I'd ask them questions like before class or after class or on our break, or some of them you have their email or phone number so you can email or text them when you're studying. And so asking them questions helped me bring things together that I might not have brought together, or sometimes if I was on the wrong track and I was bringing two ideas together that actually had nothing to do with each other, because that had happened at least once or twice. So they'll set me straight, and so that was wonderful. And then, to retain it, repetition helps. So just reiterating, like saying things multiple times, teaching it to others that maybe they didn't grasp that subject as well, and then letting them teach you as well. So like learning from a different view, or just you teaching it helps you repeat it. And so, just repetition is really what you need to try to retain everything that you need to retain. So I would try to go through the slide decks at least 3 times before every test. And I did a lot of I tried to do a lot of 80-20, so I would focus 80% of my time on the next test and 20% of my time on the test after. And I think it helped me be successful. I wasn't able to do it a lot, all the time. Once we got past, I'll say, halfway in each semester, I kind of get bogged down with test after test, and I wouldn't be as successful. But I made myself stick with it for senior semester because everything was so difficult. Sorry, I think talking is making my throat tickle. So whenever everything's so difficult, so I would make myself stick with the 80-20, and then I am basically certain that that's what helped me be successful as I was my senior semester. Potentially one of my better semesters. So even though it's some of the hardest courses, it's definitely more big picture to me than A&P freshman semester and that sort of thing. So hopefully that helps someone somewhere. Sorry. Next question I got was, what's the general culture of IPAP? Is it heavily focused, strict on dress and appearance, PT standards, training outside of IPAP, For example, can you get into trouble for forgetting your cap? What are some things you can get in trouble for and will be penalized for, such as being late, and what do those penalties look like? Is there a permanent record where these are documented? Is it encouraged to volunteer while in IPAP? Several questions. So I'll give you my point of view. If any of you know other people, obviously feel free to ask their point of view. But the culture is super like, you're an adult, do what you need to do, be an adult, and then we can treat you like an adult. It's like the units that say that they do that in the Army that don't really do it, but like IPAP actually does it because they don't have time to worry about this. The instructors are busy instructing. There's more important things going on than to deal with somebody that just like wants to act a fool. So it's not very strict on, like, generally it's not strict. Like, I think the only thing I heard of, like, there was an inquiry one time about like an inappropriate relationship in my class, and like I got asked like 3 questions about it by a lieutenant, and then like that was the end of it. So that was the only thing I heard the entire time that we were there. And then a couple people that would like, I think there were a couple that like got flagged for height and weight or failed PT tests or something, and they just obviously redid it and their flag got dropped. So you just gotta stay focused and be an adult. So dress and appearance. Men shave, women put your hair up in the right way. Just follow the whatever regulation governs you as whatever service you belong to. I will say there are many people there that look like they weren't following the regulation, and the NCO and me definitely like was going crazy on the inside at times, but just do the right thing. That's all there is to it, really. And then PT standards, you have to pass a PT test every 6 months. And that's the only standards. And I think one guy I don't know if he got like an AM or just his name said or a coin, but one guy in my class got a 600, and that was the only thing that happened. So I think they just were like at our, like the graduation rehearsal, they're like, he got a 600, good job. So, I mean, that's some people's thing. I always try to be like really good, and I think I got like a 550, 560. Obviously, that's not as great being on a female scale either, but just, I don't know, pass your PT test. It's really hard to not pass, so I just pass. If you know running you suck at, but you have 23 minutes to do the run, just make sure you can do it. And get somebody in your class to work with you if you need to. We always had people like trying to help out other people. So people are there to help, so let them help you. Training outside of IPAP, we don't do training outside of IPAP. Some people do track Tuesdays, but obviously you don't have to go to that. And then some people would, what was it? Sometimes you had 350-1, like cybersecurity you would have to or something. And then when you get ready to go phase 2, you have to do like HIPAA training and stuff, but you don't have to do that. Like, you don't really have to worry about that in phase 1. Yeah, no real training. Height and weight every 6 months with the PT test. Yeah, that's about it. Get in trouble for forgetting your cap. So this was the only day, and the whole time I was there, we were ASUs, and it was a test day because it was like the last Friday of the month, and I forgot my beret, and I definitely felt like a pile of poo, but I didn't have time to go home and get it because I didn't live on base, and it was a test day. I can't be late for the test, so I sucked it up and I walked in just as is, and then I got told, stopped by so many people, and they were like, you don't have a cover on, and I'm like, I'm tracking. I know I'm a pile of poo. I just have to get through today. So, and it's really obvious because you have to walk all the way from the student lot to the building, so it's a bit of a distance. You're not going to get in trouble. Nobody's inspecting you. So once you go into the building, it's or up to the landing. Sorry, you might hear my daughter crying in the back. So once you get up to the landing, it's no hat, no salute. So nobody there is going to see you in the faculty park on the other side of the building. And then some things you can get in trouble and penalized. Inappropriate relationships, no bueno. But those should be over soon, because they should be... I'm so sorry. My daughter's screaming. My husband's trying to take care of her. She's probably wanting in here. What do those penalties look like? So inappropriate relationships should be going away because of the soon-to-be commission upon arrival to IPAP, and because enlisted and officers should not be intermingling. So that it's kind of weird anyway, because you should be able to make study groups with whoever, enlisted, officer. You should be able to study with whoever will help you and will help you study. But when I was getting ready to leave there, they started threatening to do counselings for being late to class. And that's... my class leader was basically like, be an adult, tell me if you're going to be late, so I'm not, like, looking dumb over here, and, like, don't make a habit of it, and then we will make sure that, like, nothing happens. Like, he's like, we're all human, whatever. So I would say have a good class leader, and don't be late every day and be a douche, or else they're probably going to report you anyway. Because the only way that the NCOIC knows that you're late is because if they get told you're late, or if for some reason they see you coming in late every day, which their office is on the 2nd floor, so they rarely see us on the 3rd floor anyway, unless they're there for a certain reason. So there's not really penalties or anything. Maybe counseling if you're late repeatedly, and then obviously stay away from all the stuff that you would get UCMJ for. So know your UCMJ violations, I guess, or just do the right thing. So a permanent record. I mean, there can be, just like anywhere in the Army, counselings aren't permanent. They get thrown out when you leave the unit. But then you can get, like, letters of reprimand if you do something really bad. But if you're doing something that bad that's in your permanent file, you're probably being booted out of IPAP anyway. So, is it encouraged to volunteer while in IPAP? I'll say that I encouraged it because I've volunteered a lot, and I did the IPAP newsletter every month that included volunteer opportunities. I volunteered a lot mainly because my family wasn't there, so it's something that got me out of the house. I'm definitely like a hermit, and I don't like leaving the house. I am an introvert and socially awkward in most situations. So I would say I encourage you to volunteer if you are that way. If you're coming and you're alone, because being alone can put you in a bad mental state. And I think it helped me get out, because sometimes all I would have is go to help with foster kids for 3 hours on a Saturday, and then go to church for an hour on Sunday. So, like, and other than that, I'm in my apartment studying for who knows what. So you don't have to. I would encourage you, and I mean, some people there, if you go to IPAP meetings, they'll likely encourage you. And then the last and most recent email I just got earlier this week, this says, I just want to know how you have studied for the rotation exams in Phase 2. I'm not much of a book reader. I love condensed things, but the slides in Phase 1, but was told by end of Phase 1 brief that they recommend reading the books physically along with the learning objectives, and that is what will be tested on. So yeah, they tell every single person that, and at the end of Phase 1 brief, because you because they want you to learn how to look up the answers you need, because you are going to be on the spot sometimes with a patient and you're like, I don't know how to treat this. I haven't seen this since I was in school. Or, oh, I need to make sure that the treatment plan hasn't changed since the last time I treated this because it's been a minute. Or because honestly, medicine updates every day, so you need to know where your resources are and how to get to them. And that's the main thing that they're trying to teach you. I've bought a few of the books. Well, I've only bought one. And then for Christmas, my husband went on my Amazon book list and bought me like 7 more. Maybe not. Maybe it's like 5 or 6. But he bought me a bunch of books. And so we, I would say, no, but you have access through all these through the Stimson library on. Just make your account when you're in phase 1 and go to the library if you have issues making it, and they'll help you. And then you can also download like, oh, I'm trying to see if I can show you. There's like a Access by McGraw-Hill, and you can make an account for that through your Stimson library account. So you can literally just put Access on your iPad or your phone or whatever, and they have access to all the textbooks for your courses. So that's super cool. So I did that, and so I would say always know where you're going. But so I definitely study the slides, especially if I'm like crammed for time. Study the slides at least 3 times like I would in phase 1. However, there's many more slides than just one block of instruction. So like right now, I'm saying for OB-GYN, I have 3 blocks. So it's like 22 slide decks plus like all the other things. So you're going to have a syllabus, like, it's little font. I'm not going to scroll in, but I just want to show you. So you have a syllabus just with all the things. And there's like 5 pages of things. It's like no indications, contradictions, etc. And like treatment plans, like know all of the things about all of the things, basically. And going through the slide deck is good, and it can give you the start of that. However, I also recommend comparing your list of objectives with the textbook, with the slides, with the textbook. So sometimes I'll go through slides quickly the first time, and then I'll can be like skimming the textbook. Like, did I miss something? Was there something that wasn't listed on the slides because maybe it wasn't as important then? Or sometimes a whole objective, like for I don't want to get specific because I don't want to compromise anything, but maybe a whole like diagnosis isn't even like you never touched it in phase 1 because phase 1 has to be so condensed, and then when you get to phase 2, now it's on the syllabus. So whether or not you saw it in clinic, you need to learn about it. So that's where the book definitely comes in handy. I will say that like I've seen in my rotations, I see at least, probably 70% of or at least I talk to a preceptor about at least 70%. And then if I have more questions about other things, they'll ask, or they'll let me ask. But if I get to like the weekend before and I'm like, oh my gosh, I never saw this and I never asked about it, like I know my textbook is going to tell me about it. So I will likely look it up in the textbook and know that one. And typically if it's there, they're going to ask about it. So definitely know everything on your syllabus if you can. But I do use the slides, but I do go back to the textbook and refer back to the textbook as well. So, obviously do what you can handle. Don't try to do too many things or change up too many things at once. I think that's what I'm struggling with a little bit right now, because I'm still making 80-somethings, but just like I did in phase 1, but I feel like maybe it's just because it's a vast amount of information, but I'm trying to re-hone my study techniques so that hopefully my time will be more prosperous. So that is about it. I've now talked your heads off for almost right at 30 minutes, and I hope I answered all the questions I got emailed. I don't think I had any comments on YouTube that were super pertinent, unless I might be forgetting about some. But if you have questions, email me. I did review somebody. I met somebody at Womack that is applying to IPAP that emailed me their LOI. So I did a review and give my personal opinion. Obviously, take it, if you do that, take it with a grain of salt, because I've never sat on the board. I only know what my LOI and like it looks like, and I do know what like a couple other people's look like. But just remember to write on why you want to be a PA. Not necessarily why you think you would be a good PA. I mean, that matters for sure, and maybe touch on that. But why do you even want to be a PA? Like, what keeps you from going to be a doctor or a nurse or something else? Like, what got you interested in medicine? So, just my 2 cents. If you guys have questions, email me, comment on the video, and I hope you guys have a great start to your new year, and I will talk to you again next month. Bye.